Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Seattle Clemency Project's virtual community and justice gala. I'm Karlton Daniel, and I'll be your host tonight. I'm a proud member of the Seattle Clemency Project's board and staff, also co-leading the reentry and mentoring program. And I'm also a survivor of the criminal justice system. When I was 25 years old, I was in prison for crimes I didn't commit. I served over 22 years, and during that time, I learned a lot. I experienced firsthand the many injustices inherent within the criminal justice system and the racial iniquities faced by so many. I witnessed people just like me who were harshly treated because of the color of their skin. And every day I saw people decide to turn their lives around, find peace and hope, and become better people. But then I saw a system that didn't recognize their redemption, a system that didn't seem to care. The Seattle Clemency Project cares. It's what they're all about. And that's what they do. The Seattle Clemency Project recognizes the value in every human being and the incredible capacity we all have to change and transform. Every day, they're making a huge difference in the community and within the prison system. They have demonstrated that with unending determination and an unwavering commitment to justice, lives can be changed. Today, we've all come together to celebrate the work the Seattle Clemency Project is doing in the community and the hope they are bringing to so many. You'll enjoy entertainment from an incredible local talent. Get an update from the Seattle Clemency Project's Executive Director, Jennifer Smith. Hear from clients who will share their story to the encouraging words of Doug Baldwin. Two of you will receive one of our giveaway items, either an Xbox game package or a special quarantine package. And you'll have the chance to make a donation to help the Seattle Clemency Project continue its important work. Now, donating is easy. You can do it at any time during the event or after, if that works better for you. Just click on the donate button at the bottom of the screen. You may have to scroll down a bit. Text SCP 2020 to 44321 and you receive a donation link, or send a check to the address on the screen. And you can always access our donate page at www.seattleclemencyproject.org. It's that easy. Now, we've set a goal to raise $500,000 by the end of the year, so we're counting on you to help us make this happen. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize our sponsors and the amazing support they've provided to SCP. Our leadership sponsor, Microsoft. The presenting sponsors, BN Builders, Lane Powell, Perkins Coie, the Golding Group, T-Mobile. Advocate sponsors, Stoll Reeves, Davis Wright Tremaine, K&L Gates, Foster Garvey, DLA Piper. Thank you all so much. It's now my pleasure to introduce an amazing talent, a woman who has acted and sung on stages throughout the U.S., including here in Seattle at Seattle Rep, Intiman, and the Village Theater, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Shaunyce Omar.
Thank you, Karlton, and I really appreciate the work that you and the Seattle Clemency Project is doing. You're broken down and tired, living your life like a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We'll walk it out, move mountains, and I'll rise when the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll take it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other. Yes, we do. We have one another. We will rise. We will rise. I said we will rise. Oh yes, we gon' rise. We'll rise. And I'll rise up. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. In spite of the pain, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up. I'll rise like a wave. I'll rise up. In spite of the pain, I'll rise over and over again. We will rise. I said we will rise. We'll rise. Thank you.
Wow. Wasn't that incredible? What an amazing voice. We'll hear Shaunyce again later in the program. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Seattle Clemency Project Executive Director, Jennifer Smith.
Thank you, Karlton, and thank all of you for coming here tonight to support the Seattle Clemency Project. This moment in our country's history feels like a reckoning with the reality that our criminal justice system is in need of repair. This is something people of color have known for a very, very long time. The problems in our criminal justice system are deeply rooted in systemic racism, and they pervade every stage of the process, from the way criminal laws are enforced, to the way bail is set, and the use of excessive sentencing to address complex social problems. The Seattle Clemency Project was formed to address just one aspect of the criminal justice system, and that is, in Washington, over the past 30 years, our system has failed to recognize and reward rehabilitation. In 1984, Washington abolished parole, and in 1993, we enacted the Three Strikes Law. These actions caused our prison population to explode. Today, our prison population has approximately doubled from what it was in the 1980s, and we have 5 times the number of people serving life sentences than we did in 1986. We were very concerned about people serving life and long sentences with no meaningful mechanism for review, and we thought volunteer lawyers might just step up to give these individuals a voice and a chance to win freedom through the clemency process. About a year and a half into our project, our friends at the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project let us know that many of their clients could avoid deportation with post-conviction relief, and so we began taking on those cases as well. We then went out into the legal community with a call for help, and the response has been amazing. In just 4 years, 168 people have been matched with a volunteer lawyer. 30 people have won freedom from prison, 18 of whom were serving life sentences, and deportation has been avoided in 11 cases. In addition to the value Seattle Clemency Project has had on human lives, the economic value for our community is striking. In just 4 years, we've generated over $6 million in pro bono legal services. $18 million in taxpayer funds have been saved that would have been spent on incarcerating our 30 clients who've won freedom from prison. And when you invest in the Seattle Clemency Project, your dollars are highly leveraged because we use volunteer lawyers to do much of the legal work, but we still have costs. We've received over 700 requests for assistance, and we vet every applicant who writes to us. Before we hand a client off to a volunteer lawyer, we travel to prisons across the state to meet with them in person. We recruit, train, and support volunteer lawyers throughout the entire process. And importantly, when our clients come home, we've developed a robust reentry program to walk alongside them as they rebuild their lives. All of these operations are essential. This event is our largest source of revenue for the year, and we simply cannot continue having an impact without your support. I think when you look at the numbers, you'll see that your investment in the Seattle Clemency Project more than pays for itself. But here's what I want you to know about the real value of the Seattle Clemency Project. When you invest in our work, you're investing in a way forward for the criminal justice system. Beyond the numbers, I've seen real magic happen in this work over the past 4 years. I see magic in the quality of the lawyers who have stepped up to take on our cases. We've recruited some of the best lawyers in the state. I see magic when those lawyers come back to us at the end of a case and say that the experience of knowing their client has changed their life. I see magic when prosecutors come forward to support early release. And finally, I see magic in the way our clients are contributing to the community when they come home. These are not the outcomes the criminal justice system has been delivering for the past 30 years. What we're seeing is a powerful force and a sign that our criminal justice system has the capacity to be better. And this power comes directly from our clients. Our clients have been taken to the edge. They have faced down life sentences. They've faced the possibility of being permanently separated from their children by deportation. And they've come through these experiences not just as survivors, but stronger than they were before. And when their volunteer lawyer brings their story to light and shows their resilience and their undeniable worth, everything changes. The system changes and is finally able to see them for who they are, not just a mistake they made in the past. You'll see what I mean about the power of our clients when you hear from Sarai Pin and Anthony Powers next. But until then, I want to genuinely thank you for coming here tonight to support the Seattle Clemency Project and to support community and justice.
Thank you, Jen, for that update. As Jen mentioned, the Seattle Clemency Project has seen a real need to help refugees at risk of being separated from their families because of old criminal convictions. Sarai Pin was one such individual. Let's hear her story.
My parents fled Cambodia from the Khmer Rouge regime. They ended up in the refugee camp where they stayed for 10 years, and that's where I was born. In 1989, when our family got the news that we were coming to America and resided in Aberdeen, Washington, where our family is. I was in a domestic violence relationship. He was really controlling, of course. You know, I had to drive him around because he didn't have a driver's license, and I just did everything that he asked. One day, he finally got caught selling drugs to undercover cop, and we both ended up getting arrested. I just found myself being processed into county jail, looking at 50 years in prison. It just felt so surreal because the whole time I'm thinking, like, what did I do? I didn't know until I was convicted, was when my lawyer finally told me that, oh, there's a possibility that you are gonna get deported and there might be an ICE hold on you. Living through that and trying to live a normal, productive life was really challenging. I constantly lived in fear, and I felt like I was traumatized from that fear of getting deported and separated from my kids and my family. The final incident with the guy that I was with for 10 years, he tried to kill me. My son is screaming, witnessed the whole thing. He did 9 months, got released, and they didn't even recommend anger management or any rehabilitation classes except for drug and alcohol. And 2 months later, I get a letter from ICE that I need to be detained. They're gonna go ahead and set me up with the interview with the Cambodian consulate where I will be deported. I just couldn't see a clear picture. All I saw was my life kept on going downhill. I just felt like I'm never gonna get out of this situation because I've looked everywhere to try to help myself research how do I fix this issue, this legal part. And the whole time I'm thinking like, I wish somebody know my situation and know like I'm really innocent, and I cannot believe that I was going through all of this, being kicked out of a country literally for something that I had no involvement in. I was sitting at IHOP with my 2-year-old boy, like looking at him like, this is like the last time I'm gonna spend with my son. And as I'm going through my phone, like just looking up lawyers, trying to find somebody to help me, I get a message from a lawyer through Facebook, told me that she wants to help me. And if I needed the help, to give her a call. She left her number and I called her right away. And she told me that she knew a Cambodian anti-deportation group who might have some resources that can help me in my situation. And to me, I'm like, wow, my luck is finally changing. For once, like I felt like I have hope. That's where John from Seattle Clemency Project reached out to me. And he was the only lawyer who knew the legal part in my case. The only person that told me that they can save me was him. He told me that he can help me hopefully get my permanent residency back. And I've never had a lawyer been able to tell me that. And that was what I wanted, was to at least get that back. During that time, I already met with the Cambodian consulate, interviewed with them for them to issue me a travel document. And as I'm waiting in the detention center in Texas, Seattle Clemency Project went for a vacate. To my surprise, the prosecutor actually agreed to vacate my conviction. I had less than a week left before ICE was gonna put me on a plane, and I'm going. And just to my surprise again, I couldn't believe like everything was happening in my favor. The next day, NERP didn't even hesitate. They filed the motion right away to terminate my deportation. And on Mother's Day, actually, was when I was released from ICE custody. Seattle Clemency Project gives people like me a second chance.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for letting me share my story with you. This means a lot to me. Facing deportation was the scariest experience of my life. The thought of leaving my kids was devastating. But Seattle Clemency Project helped me have hope. They believed in me, they supported me, they encouraged me, and they fought with me to keep my family together. I will always be grateful to Seattle Clemency Project, and I hope you'll help support them so that more people like me can obtain a real chance at justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarai. What a brave woman. The Seattle Clemency Project has prevented deportation for 10 other people just like Sarai. And if this work is important to you, here's your chance to give. Our next client, Anthony Powers, is someone I've known since 1993. We were incarcerated together and over time became very good friends. We now work together at the Seattle Clemency Project, co-leading the reentry and mentoring program. Let's learn more about Anthony.
I was sentenced at the age of 16 to 77 years in prison, or 924 months. I was frightened going in as a 16-year-old child. I didn't know what to expect, but I did know that I was the youngest person at that prison, and I was one of the smallest, if not the smallest person at that prison. The first 11 years, I was in and out of the hole or solitary confinement, and it was a means of taking a break from the madness of prison. The last time that I was in there, I had to take an anger management class. This lady's trying to teach this class, and the thing that got me, though, is that she was so sincere about trying to make a difference that had an impact on me. A couple weeks after graduating, my grandmother died, and then that's when I said, you know what, being 18, being 21, that doesn't make you a man, your conduct makes you a man, and it's time for me to change. So I made a pledge to myself that I'd never get in trouble again, and I went from having 44 major infractions to never getting in trouble again over the next 15 years that I was incarcerated. So in 2015, I was excited about the new juvenile parole process. Senator Daniel came to see me in prison, and she told me that I far exceeded anything they ever hoped for when they passed the bill. So when I was thinking, all right, do I qualify? I think I do, right? But when I went in and you're not entitled to a lawyer. So if you don't have a lawyer and you can't afford a lawyer, then you have to go in there by yourself. And I went in there by myself, but I was still confident, being that there was a presumption of release, and being that I hadn't been in trouble for over a decade, and being that I had been a role model, and being that I had taught and mentored literally over 2,000 people in prison. And I was hopeful that, I'd be released, being that the only reason that they could deny you is if you're more likely than not to be a criminal if you're released. And I felt like I had demonstrated the fact that I'm not a criminal at all. So I went in and they denied me, and they said that I could petition for release in another year, which means that I could have a hearing in 3 years, because even after you petition, you have to wait an additional year. So it meant that I wouldn't have a hearing for 3 years. And I still went in with confidence, and I got denied again. I was done. I was like, I'm done. I'm not ever petitioning again. I had zero faith. I had zero confidence. It puts major stress on your family as well for being denied. So I was like, I'm not putting my family through it. I'm not putting myself through it. I'm done. But Jennifer Smith of the Seattle Clemency Project said, let us get you an attorney. Let's try to make a difference, and just give it a chance. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm not filing. She said, well, just let us get you an attorney. I said, all right. And then she got Kevin Cranes, and he was amazing. We're actually friends to this day. The support that my attorney provided me throughout the process was a moral support, a legal support, a professional support, because he was good at what he did, right? But also just being able to listen to me and take my input, and also value me as a human being and as a person, and not just say, I'm the attorney, I got everything. I believe that my attorney and his approach made a tremendous difference for the board. I think it made all the difference. I knew he cared. I knew the Seattle Clemency Project cared. I knew that they were invested in justice. And I also saw how many changes that came to the criminal justice system subtly. I knew that people were listening when the Seattle Clemency Project were involved, and it gave me enough faith and confidence to at least give it a try. My hearing was in May of 2019. It seemed like an eternity, but in June, I had found out that I was found releasable, and then I had to do 35 days, and I was released on September 4th of 2019. I believe it's important for people to have advocates and to know they have advocates outside of prison, because I know for myself, having a 77-year prison sentence without parole, even when they did have a parole process, there wasn't anybody coming in and trying to advocate for me. So when I knew that somebody was trying to advocate for me, that gave me the hope. People should support the Seattle Clemency Project because it not only addresses these individual human lives, so let's not forget the fact that they're human lives that are being affected and impacted, right? But it addresses things on a criminal justice level overall. because the more these stories are being brought out or that are currently being hidden inside a prison, the more people realize that the stuff that the community's been sold aren't true. And the sooner we can see that, the sooner we can make systemic changes, the sooner we can get a lot more bigger changes made.
That's difficult to watch. I'm so grateful for my freedom. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I've been given. And those opportunities are the result of somebody donating in the past. And this is why I urge you to donate so that people who are left behind can have this opportunity. People who are familiar with what I've done over the past year plus have known that I've done a lot of major projects that benefit the community. And I want to acknowledge Microsoft, who are behind 3 of those projects. But one of those projects that are near and dear to my heart is the Seattle Clemency Project's reentry group, which you will learn more about in this following video.
The Seattle Clemency Project's reentry program is twofold. The first being reentry, addressing all the reentry needs of a person that's going to be receiving clemency or commutations or pardons. The other part is transition, and that's the part is the most important that we feel, because with transition, if you have reentry but no transition, then it's like a flat tire. You have rubber, but you have no air, so you don't go anywhere. And that transition is a very important component, because that's the thing that the person has to get acclimated into this new society now. It's possible that they have been incarcerated for 20 or 30 years. Well, society out here has changed probably 15 or 20 times because of that. And so they don't know modern technology, they don't know communication, they don't understand the culture, the language. Everything has changed, so we try to help people transition into what society deems as also normal. So what Anthony does first is he takes the different clients that the Seattle Clemency Project has, and maybe 2 or 3 months before their hearing date, he meets with them. And then he and I start discussing about the reentry plan that I've already spoken with their attorneys about. And we try to get the proper resources that each individual needs. I'll host a monthly mentorship class where we'll talk about different things, whether it be family, community life, the culture inside versus outside, setting goals, values, financial things, just different topics that people need for success and to set people up for success. But more importantly, what we do is we have people who are like-minded, meaning that people who have come from prison all together, understanding a culture that most people who haven't been to prison will never understand. So they can understand each other and the problems that they had. Because what we want to do is also create a network between themselves where they can always reach out to each other for support and ask each other different questions of how did you become successful doing this, or how did it work for you when you went to the grocery store for the first time by yourself? You know, these things that most of the public, they would never think about it, but for someone who has never went to a grocery store by themselves for 30 years, it's different. You know, Anthony understands that, and I understand it. You know, so that's something that we can connect with each one of them and walk a person through these different things. With the Seattle Clemency Project, our focus is to go a step beyond and do what's right for the actual community at large. And that is to bring successful men and women out into society and help them not only better themselves, but help them better the environment as well. Because who better to fix what was broken than the people that broke it? The biggest thing that I would love for people to take away from this is to go to your employers, go to all the local businesses and tell them, open the doors to people who were formerly incarcerated, allow them to work there, talk to the apartment managers, go to your housing authorities and say, hey, let these people live here, give them a chance, back us. You know, financially, we need your assistance. But more than anything, we need your support to be right there, our backbones, fighting with us to try to make life better for the entire community. One of the focuses that Anthony and myself both have, we want to break the stigma where society thinks that everyone who is incarcerated is a bad person. We want to show society that no, there are very, very, very good people who are incarcerated, and they're coming home whether you like it or not. So it's better that we bring them home, that we support them and get them the resources and the help and the transition that they need, so that they'll be productive citizens instead of destructible citizens. I'm really proud of the work we're doing on reentry and transition, but none of that would be possible without the amazing lawyers who donate their time and talent to help our clients get a chance at freedom. Dave Heiner is one of those lawyers and we're honored to recognize him as our Pro Bono Lawyer of the Year and recipient of the Seattle Clemency Project's 2020 Luminary Award. We shared more about Dave's contributions in our recent newsletter and hope you saw this. If you missed it, posting it on our website again, and you can read it at your leisure. Now, it's an honor to introduce a friend of the Seattle Project, Dr. Doug Baldwin.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us today in support of the Seattle Clemency Project. I know that we've all discussed it before, but mass incarceration is a major problem within our country. Over the past 25 years, we've seen a major influx in people in our criminal justice system experiencing excessive sentencing. And I know saying it's not right is not enough. And that's why people and organizations like the Seattle Clemency Project are standing up for people who can't fight for themselves. Over the past 4 years, Seattle Clemency Project has generated $6 million in legal support, has restored the freedom for 26 people, and has also protected 11 people from deportation. Even though it's called our criminal justice system, justice is not always preserved. And that's why the Seattle Clemency Project has galvanized a diverse group of lawyers to fight for greater access to justice. Look, we all know that the problems with our criminal justice system are very complicated. It's going to take a group of passionate, unique, and diverse individuals to come together collectively to solve these problems. And unfortunately, it's going to take longer than we want. But there's things that we can do in the meantime. And the Seattle Clemency Project is fighting for people who can't fight for themselves. And like I said earlier, they generated over $6 million of free legal funds to save 26 people from the system, to restore their freedoms and their rights, and also save 11 people from deportation. So there's many, many steps that we have to take in solving this gigantic problem. And one of the small steps that you can take this evening with me is donating to the Seattle Clemency Project. Because again, we can't solve these problems individually. We have to solve them together.
What a powerful message. What an amazing leader. Let me go back to something that Jen said. Did you hear her share that the Seattle Clemency Project has saved taxpayers $18 million since 2016? This is real money, and it's big. All the guys you just saw on the chart are contributing even more back to the community. Getting jobs, paying bills, obtaining housing, mending family relationships, and mentoring others just like them. We've heard from some incredible people tonight who shared truly inspirational stories. But there are many, many more untold stories out there. There's a story of Sokan in the top picture, a man who's been in this country since he was 2 years old and was about to be taken away from his large and loving family. Then there's a story of Chanthu and Zara, pictured below, both of them facing deportation and forced separation from their US-born children. Thanks to the Seattle Clemency Project and their pro bono lawyers, they were all saved from deportation and their permanent resident status has been reinstated. We learned about juvenile cases from Anthony. His story echoes what the data shows. If you were to go before the juvenile board without a lawyer, you're much less likely to be successful in gaining early release from prison. 90% of the Seattle Clemency Project's juvenile clients have been found releasable. I know these guys. I've served time with them, with many of them, and they deserve this. And I don't think they would be out in the community right now without the help of the Seattle Clemency Project and their volunteer lawyers. Tonight, you have the power to ensure that justice is delivered to those who are most in danger of being forgotten, left behind, and silenced. Every dollar you donate translates to opportunities for others who feel their options are limited. Every person here has the ability to make a difference. And now, if you haven't done so already, it's time to get out those checkbooks or credit cards and give. You can give any amount at any time. So I'm going to ask you to raise your virtual paddle and make a donation in support of the men and women who turn to the Seattle Clemency Project for help. People like Ronnie Jackson, who was a detail clerk at a used car lot, who all of a sudden, out of nowhere, within 2 months became a salesman and is on his way to management. Percy Levy, who talked to me when he was incarcerated. I used to talk to him on the phone and he wanted to be a substance abuse counselor. He's been out less than 6 months and he's doing just that up north. He's doing an excellent job. All these guys are also a part of our mentoring group. Now, our goal is to raise $500,000 by the end of the year. And as Jen mentioned earlier, this event is our main source of income. So don't be shy. And remember, it's easy to give. Just text SCP 2020 to 44321 and you'll receive a donation link, and send a check or money order, whatever, to the address seen on the screen. And you can always access our donate page at www.seattleclemencyproject.org. And wait a minute. Oh, wow. I'm getting a text that we have a special guest who wants to join us, and he wants to give his own plea for giving, and I got to get ready for him just in case. No, I better not do that one. I forgot I better do this one. Okay. Here we go to him. Oh, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Karlton. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing really good, man. Hey, listen, I wanted to tell you something too. You know, I followed you in college, and by the way, you were one of my favorite wide receivers at Stanford. I remember that. And I also remembered that you were undrafted. So you understand the difference and the difficulties, rather, that people have facing difficulties. You were undrafted and you left and retired from the game with a Super Bowl ring, a champion. I love it, man. I love this story. But if you can make a plea to the people, what would you tell them?
Yeah, well, I mean, besides the fact that it's coming from somebody who had a San Francisco hat on just a second ago, I'll forgive you for that. I will forgive you for that. You know, I think, you know, obviously this whole program is demonstrating the importance of an organization like the Seattle Clemency Project. And we know the impact that it has in helping individual lives reclaim their lives and their rights. But I think, you know, why I'm supporting Seattle Clemency Project and why I'm pleading for you to support Seattle Clemency Project is because it's not just that individual that's impacted, right? It's their families, right? They get to reclaim their lives and their families and the time that they lost with their families. Now they get to go back and figure out how to rebuild their lives. And then now they get to go into the community and become citizens of our community again and impact our community. And so it's not just that one individual or these few individuals that get impacted, it's the entire community. And so that ripple effect that Seattle Clemency Project has on you know, this small population of individuals is going to have a ripple effect into our community. And so I'm asking all of you to support Seattle Clemency Project effort and really the ethos of what they are trying to accomplish, right? It's always about being empathetic and being good people and really serving your community and serving those who need the support. And so, you know, I ask all of you to join me in supporting the Seattle Clemency Project and doing just that.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you, man, very much. Listen, we appreciate, excuse me, all of you who have already contributed and continuing to do so. People are giving right now because people care. So people are giving big right now. And you want to know why that is? It's because this is a big issue. We're waking up. The criminal justice system is not where it needs to be. And the people are putting their money behind this because they want change. They want justice. So let's keep it going. And don't think you need to come in at a high level. Every single dollar makes a difference. Your donations help fund prison visits to incarcerated clients, mentoring sessions, curriculum and training for clients receiving early release from prison, emergency financial assistance for people coming out of prison, facing challenges related to work, training, housing because of COVID-19. And what your donations deliver is so much more. It brings hope to those who feel forgotten, unseen, and unvalued because of their past actions, because of the color of their skin, because of their social economic standing. It also validates that the changes made by so many is important and worthy of action, and recognizes that change can and must happen within the criminal justice system, and reunifies families, strengthens communities, and provides access to justice. So keep giving. And now let's take a minute to do our prize drawings. The first drawing is for a quarantine package, which includes gift cards from QFC, Amazon, DoorDash, and Island Books bookstore. Also delicious treats, including a special package from Island Treats Chocolates and other items to keep you safe at home. And the winner is Alexandra Comstock. Our second prize, courtesy of Microsoft, is an Xbox One gaming package, including an Xbox One gaming console. And the winner is Mr. Jonathan Zwickel. Congratulations. We'll be reaching out to you both directly to coordinate delivery of your prizes. And before we wrap this up, I'd like to welcome Shaunyce Omar back for another great song.
All right, everybody. Now, we done had us a good time tonight. Now, I want us to end on a high note. So get on up out your seat, put on your dancing shoes, and get ready to dance with me. Come on and get on the love train. Put your hands together. People all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. People all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. The next stop we make will be in England. Tell all the folks in Russia, in China too. Once that train arrives at the station, you will miss it 'cause it's riding on through. Oh, people all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. People all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. All of my brothers over in Africa. Tell all the folks in Egypt, in Israel too. Once that train arrives at the station, you better get on 'cause you'll miss it, and I feel sorry for you. Well, people all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. People all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train. Why don't you ride? Oh, let's ride. Come on and ride. Ride. People all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. People all over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. Got to get on the love train, the love train. Get on the love train, the love train. Yeah, I said get on board. I said get on board. I said get on board. Woo!
Thanks, Shaunyce. And thanks to our great sponsors. And thanks also to our amazing team that pulled this evening together. Thanks to all of you for attending and supporting the Seattle Clemency Project. And remember that our giving platforms are still open, so keep donating. You don't have to just donate today if you want to. Tomorrow, it'll be open tomorrow as well. You can donate tomorrow as well. You can donate the day after. Just visit our website, www.seattleclemencyproject.com. .org. Don't go .com, go .org. Also, one last thing, just to let you know, if you want to see this cast all over again, this event to be replayed, go back to our website tomorrow and you'll be able to see it again. So with that being said, I'm going to say good night and thank you.
All over the world, join hands. Get on the love train, the love train. People all over the world, join hands, get on the love train, the love train. Got to get on the love train, the love train. Get on the love train, the love train. I said get on board. I said get on board. I said get on board.